Thank you for joining us in our inaugural Activate program demo and pitch. We are excited to showcase the talented founders behind 9 startups who have just completed an intensive 4 weeks mentoring program, supported by Lou Jury and Peter Laurie, our entrepreneurs in residence, and the River City Labs team. The Activate program is for early stage startups who are solving real world problems through technology. The teams have spent their weeks qualifying the problem they set out to solve and validating the market. They refined their business and commercial go-to-market model and plans. They are now here to showcase their business in front of you, our community of active supporters, industry stakeholders, and investors. Please continue to support post the digital event tonight to continue to grow technology innovation in Queensland, especially in the turbulent and disruptive year we've had so far in 2020. It truly has been one of a kind. The agenda and profiles of the founders can be found in chat. We will run the pitches for 5 minutes with Q&A set for 3 minutes. If you do have questions for our startups, please post these onto chat and I will call on you to unmute yourself and ask the question to our founder. If we don't get to your question, you will have the opportunity post pitches to meet our founders in a digital breakout room. Please just privately message the River City Labs team in chat and mention the startup you would like to meet post the pitch, and we'll be able to put you in the rooms at the time. So our hashtag for tonight is in the chat as well. So please actively use it to promote and support our founders tonight, as well as to continue to support innovation in Queensland. So without further ado, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the Yagara and Turrbal people as the traditional owners and First Nations people of the land where we gather today. I recognize that this land was taken. I pay my respect to elders past and present and to emerging community leaders. I also extend respect to our First Nations people online tonight. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders were the first scientists, astronomers, geologists, and ecologists, engineers, building their deep knowledge about the nature of the world in which we live for thousands of generations. Here in Australia, scientists like our founders tonight continue to build on the tradition of inquiry, curiosity, and custodianship, adding to the rich soil and scientific knowledge of our country. So please, without further ado, give a virtual gesture clap for our first founder, Paul Brennan from Trieste.
Hey, how are you? Just get this up here. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Trieste. We're a provider of engineered health controls for the construction industry. So coming from construction, we've seen for ourselves the devastating impacts caused by occupational illness to workers and their families. There's literally tens of thousands of Australians who are affected by illnesses like asbestosis, silicosis, and even cancer. But the real tragedy is that all these illnesses are actually completely preventable. So why is it that construction is shouting safety but only whispering health? Because change is hard. Previously, builders had a responsibility to look after workers to protect them from accidents using hard hats and boots and safety equipment. But now in new laws, builders have a responsibility to protect the workers for long-term health, which basically means that they have to look after the next 10, 20, even 30 years. And builders are struggling with this because these hazards that are affecting or killing these people are actually invisible or difficult to control. So what we've done at Trieste, we've created some mobile engineered health controls called Defender. Defender protects the workers on site from hazards like fumes, exhaust, noise, and dust. Our products are far superior than any other controls that you could put onto the market, and they're the only ones that are going to meet the new laws. But what it is essentially is a wet extraction and filtration systems that we put onto site that connect to engineered workshops and enclosures, where we can collect the dust and hazards. But more importantly, these are quick, easy, and safe for the workers to use. We've also built a COVID decontamination and screening unit if anybody's interested. When we were on site, we actually then introduced a platform called NextTrack. And what this is essentially is a dashboard for the builder to monitor the controls to make sure that they're working, to check that the workers are compliant, they're doing their training, etc., and also to be able to do the compulsory reports for the health authorities. We're also developing an app for the actual workers so they can do their training online, their swims, and also health monitoring. Builders actually really like this. When we've talked to builders, they've really liked it for their compliance requirements. But I think actually the workers will be the ones that are going to be the real winners, because this would be really good for their own health and well-being monitoring. So we've got our first order, which happens to be coming on site in the next couple of months to Brisbane's Queen's Wharf projects. And this is a huge project for us and for Australia. It's a $3.6 billion project, and it's being built by Multiplex. Not only will Multiplex be on there as a global builder, but there's also going to be government authorities on there. There's going to be the unions who are very influential, and there's also going to be 2,000 workers on there. And these guys are all going to be able to see how much quicker and easier and safer their jobs are using our products and our controls on sites. But we're not only talking to Multiplex, we're talking to other major builders out there too, whether it be we're talking to the Hutchies guys or Built, or whether we're talking to global leaders like global builders like Lendlease as well. So the next 3 years in Australia, all 9,500 construction sites will need to have some sort of engineered controls in place. Generally, this will cost around about $2,000 per week on average. But this is not a cost caused by us, and it's not a new cost either. And builders are already spending this on inefficient controls already that don't actually really protect the workers or their businesses. So our plan is that we want to be on 150 sites in 2 or 3 years and 1,000 sites in 5 to 7 years, which is 10% of the market. But we also want to be in the UK in 2 to 3 years. Now, my wife and I, Kristen, we've done this before. We've ran our own businesses and looked at the business of other people too. We know how much hard work is involved. We know the pains and the joys of it. We also understand the importance of money and cash, especially when it's somebody else's money too. But we've got the right products, and it's the right time, and we're going to build the right team to deliver this as well. But to keep us on track, we've also got a really experienced advisory team chaired by PwC Principal Rob Ashley. So we want to move fast and we want to lead the market. And what we want to do is we want to be able to manufacture equipment for 3 or 4 major projects across Australia. We want to hire some key people, which we've already got sitting there ready to come on board with us. We want to develop NextTrack and really get out to market, engage with the people, engage with all those workers that are on sites at the moment. And we also want to push our marketing campaign and make sure Australia knows all about us and what we're doing. To do this, we're looking to raise $1 million. So if you or anybody else you know can help us with either connections to site or a project that you may or may not know about, or you want to invest with us, please get in contact and help us build better, safer, and healthier work sites. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'll open the floor to questions. So please feel free to raise in chat if you have a question. I haven't seen any questions pop up. So if you would like to, feel free to unmute yourself if you do have a question. Asegul from Pre-Money, did you want to unmute yourself and ask that question?
Yeah, they're just looking for pre-money, Paul.
Sorry, this is pre-money, yeah. So we're looking for pre-money right now. I think we're going to have money coming into our business in the next 3 or 4 months, we're hoping to.
No, I mean your valuation, unless I missed it.
Pre-COVID, we were actually valued at $10 million, but we actually, when COVID happened, that delayed things with legislation and economy. So we put it down to about $5 million valuation.
Okay, so related to that, where is your revenue sitting?
Nothing at the moment. Our revenue will be coming in the next couple of months, our first bit of revenue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Jared, over to you.
Oh, I just was looking at, you were saying builders already have to do this. So what's the current solution? And how do you better them? Like, and what's the competition like for you?
Yeah, so basically what they're doing at the moment, they hand it down to the subcontractors, and they have to bring on their own vacuum cleaners, and their own sort of PPE and other sort of pieces of equipment that they make themselves. And then what the builder will do is they'll create an area for them to use and try to put some sort of filter through it or some sort of vacuum. It doesn't really work. The builders are fully aware of this, but at the moment it's like the best that they can do because there hasn't really been the controls out there like what we're doing to be able to do this. Other builders are interested in being able to do something similar to this, and they have tried to build sort of rooms to do them in, but it's not as simple as just put a room together. We've spent a year on technology to build these correctly.
Thank you, Jared. Sarah, we've got a question from you.
Thanks, Paul. Great opportunity, and so good to see it, the Queen's Wharf. Well done. It's really good to see that government is actually buying from people like yourself. That's really good. Yeah. And let us know if you need any help with any of that. Just a quick question around the route to market and scale. You know, the building industry can be really quite difficult to sell into and to find your route in, and particularly if it's something that they, you know, you're not totally sure they're absolutely dying for it. So what's your strategy there?
Yeah, no, we're only going really for the top 20 builders, and to be honest, it's probably only the top sort of 5 or 6 that we're going for right now, which are the tier ones. And those projects are going to have, they're like the few $100 million projects. They're going for a couple of years. They have government oversight involved with them, and there's probably some sort of health thing on it as well too. And there's going to be unions on there as well. So we're going for those major projects first. And in the first year, what we're trying to do is really get onto about a dozen bigger sites across the actual country, and which have thousands of workers on there and big teams. And as those teams move across to other places, that's going to help them understand what we're doing. Also, when a tier 1 puts it into their framework, as a HSC framework, then when a tier 2 comes onto that project, they'll have to sort of abide by the same kind of thing. That's what we're hoping for. But really, we're hoping to get onto the tier 1s, and then as it comes down, the legislation comes in next year, the tier 2 start rolling into it, and then maybe tier 3s in the future. But we're looking just at those top guys to start with.
Right. I mean, it'd be interesting with COVID. I suspect there's going to be a lot of building as part of the recovery globally, and obviously health is going to be part of that too. So it's interesting times.
And I don't know whether you heard, but I have built a COVID decontamination screening unit that I don't think anybody wants to say at the moment, but it could be good for the UK or somewhere else. So. Yeah, or China. Or China, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you to all of our questions. I note that we do have a few more questions on chat. There will be an opportunity to ask more questions at the breakout when we're networking after the pitches. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Paul. So who do we have next is the founder from Improov, so Alexandros Collivas. So over to you, Alex.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Alex, and today I'll be introducing Improov and why you should be integrating Improov into your business or to refer a business that you know. The problem is the inability for small to medium businesses to effectively and efficiently capture, organize, and analyze customer feedback. We all know that customer feedback is a critical part of doing business. It can help increase sales, boost customer retention, and even change the direction of your business. Yet, why is it so difficult for small to medium businesses to capture, organize, and analyze customer feedback in a way that they would actually use? We asked a range of SMEs and found that a platform just hasn't been built for this purpose. Introducing Improov, we purpose-built a customer feedback platform specifically for small to medium businesses that ticks all the boxes. Designed to be easy to use for both the business owner and the consumer, Improov is as frictionless as possible. We purposely made it faster to leave feedback with Improov under almost all circumstances than it is to, say, leave a public review. We focused on creating the right environment so that the business owner and the consumer feel completely comfortable in participating in the feedback process. For that reason, feedback is through Improov is completely private and optionally anonymous for the consumer. Like all good platforms, they need to incentivize all the parties that use it, and Improov does just that. Business owners can optionally use and customize an automatic reward for feedback tool and can respond to their customers. We have an absolute focus on high quality data, and for that reason, Improov is a customer feedback platform only, with a backend that automatically organizes and analyzes customer feedback with AI so that you can extract the most useful information quickly. Built for the small to medium business, Improov is also priced accordingly. For a low monthly fee at the moment of $15 per month and a free trial period, the cost of Improov is at least proportional to the value it delivers. Improov fits into your business by helping to facilitate the following feedback path. Feedback, verbatim feedback is received through your customizable feedback page. Improov provides you with the tools necessary, both digitally and physically, to get your consumers to that feedback page as soon as possible. Rewards that not only incentivize consumers to leave feedback, but to come back to your business as quickly as possible. The Improov backend helps you to easily understand the feedback you've received so that you can take the action to improve your business. Improov guides your business here, success, where you are consistently improving your business, boosting sales and customer retention. Now, I know that can be a lot to take in, so we designed a GIF to illustrate the feedback process. Customizable feedback page with welcome message, the customer's feedback, the optional automated reward, and the back end so that you can easily see the important facts and trending feedback categories. Whilst we only launched 3 weeks ago, businesses like yours are already using Improov. These businesses are benefiting from the fact that they've established a private customer feedback channel that's always on. To date, for example, AKS Star Cleaning Services have already prevented the loss of one of their key customers. If you join in the next month, you'll receive 20% off our membership prices for life and gain early access to our future features. Our future features are designed to leverage the feedback process to help grow your business. Some of those future features include the ability to test future business plans with an engaged customer set, complete white label support, and quick action buttons at the bottom of your feedback page that can be transaction-based or linked to external websites. Ultimately, Improov is about being the gateway for your customers to experience your business after the experience. If you want to start unlocking business value from customer feedback, please get in contact with me or refer a business that you think could benefit from Improov. Thank you very much for being a wonderful audience and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Alex. There's no questions in chat, so feel free again to unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Hi, Pauline. I've got a question for Alex. Is the platform designed just to be B2C or do you intend for it to be B2B as well?
So B2B as well. And it's an interesting question because one of my go-to-market strategies is actually to target B2B. So for example, Quality Food Services, which is a key customer that has just signed on. They're a food distribution business in Southeast Queensland, and they distribute to about 2,000 to 3,000 restaurants, cafes, bars, and pubs, which are customers that I'm interested in using myself. And so once they start using the platform, that's an example of them being able to convert to actual end customers too. And then, yes, of course, it's useful for B2C as well.
Thank you, Kelly. We've got a question from David Myers. David, if you wanted to unmute yourself. I might read it out for David. Isn't there a lot of competition in this area, Alex?
There is a lot of competition in terms of feedback, but none that really hit the spot in terms of being private and optionally anonymous at the right price and easy to use for this type of market. So this is an example of an assessment of all the different options you have. Where there's a red cross, it means that it's almost completely unviable for this user segment to use that sort of platform for the feedback process. And when there's an orange, sometimes it's usable and sometimes it's not. Happy to go into further detail in one of the breakout rooms if you'd like.
Thank you. We do have a similar question from Brian. How are you solving this problem in a way that is sufficiently different from competitive alternatives?
It'd be great to get an example of what Brian means.
I think David Myers has posted something on the chat, which you can check out after Alex. We do have a question from Ilya. What is the target market for Improov?
So the primary target market is small to medium businesses that have at least a moderate to high levels of transaction volume and moderate to high levels of value add from that business. So it's pretty broad. Of course, the actual value add for a particular business varies according to the type of business and the type of industry. But we think there's definitely sufficient levels of types of business where the value add is strong enough to establish a pretty large target market.
Thank you. David, I know you had some audio issues earlier. Did you want to elaborate on your question specifically there, or happy for you to also wait till the breakout room? Feel free to unmute if you have audio working now. Otherwise, we don't have any more questions at this point. Again, Alex will be available in a breakout room post the pitches. So it sounds like you've definitely got some interest in this space. Oh, we've got one more question from Monty because we do have some time. So does it work inside social media and apps as well as a website?
Yes, absolutely. So we have all the tools necessary to integrate into Instagram, Facebook, Google My Business, websites, emails, and physical tools as well, such as QR codes and ready-to-print media.
Great. Thank you very much, Alex from Improov. So we will now go over to our next founder, and that is Pete Locke from Press One. Over to you, Pete.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pete. I'm the founder of Press One. We are connecting brands to the media in a disconnected world. Press One is solving a problem for the $300 billion global media industry. And we are a remote press conferencing tool that's going to make it easier for brands to connect to the media. And there was a really big problem with the traditional media at the moment. Broadcasters are shrinking in size, newspapers are cutting staff and stopping production, and sports journalists and government journalists are reducing their footprint right across the country. The flow-on effect for this is that people like me that work in PR are finding it increasingly difficult to get good publicity. It's hard to get publicity from while you're international or interstate, and if I'm holding a press conference, the traditional response at the moment is, sorry, Pete, I can't get there and I can't get a camera. So the way a press conference currently works, if I'm looking to get my message to media that can't get to a press conference, I need to record it on a video camera, upload it to video editing software, upload it to Dropbox or Hightail, and then release via an email system like MailChimp via a press release. Now, Press One wants to solve this problem that is clunky and costs a lot of money by moving those three tools into one. We're an end-to-end virtual press conferencing tool that takes the need for 4 platforms down to 1. We reduce costs and resourcing for media and allowing brands to get their messages to media anywhere in the world. From a technical point of view, we are video conferencing and streaming. We have remote press conferencing moderation capabilities, meaning I can field questions from anyone in the world or interstate. We are press release creation and content distribution and warehouse tagged content, meaning anyone in the media can go into our platform, search for historical content using keywords, and have access to today's press conference or any other historical relevant content. During this process, we've been speaking to a lot of people within the media industry, PR people, journalists, broadcasters, and they've told us that traditionally at the moment, Zoom is the way that they are connecting with media in a COVID environment. But post-COVID, we are now in a stage where virtual press conferencing and connecting to media virtually is going to become the norm. So as I mentioned, we're working in a global media market that's valued at over $3 billion. We will have a tiered subscription model, and our paying customer will be anyone that works in PR or media and are looking to get messages to brands internationally, interstate, or in their own market. As I mentioned, we'll have a tiered subscription model that allow for individuals, businesses, and large enterprises to gain access to our platform. Our competitors at the moment are anyone that runs traditional press conferences in a live environment, video press conferencing such as Zoom, and email distribution channels such as MailChimp. Now, traditional press conferences have a lot of limitations around privacy and require media to be on location, or a PR person like me needs to be able to capture content and distribute to them, which, as I've mentioned, is a clunky and a difficult process. So Press One is looking to solve this. At the moment, we have validated our business and tested our business model, and we have trial customers ready to go on the journey with us once we're ready to have some a product ready. So for the next 3 to 6 months, we're looking to build our sales funnel while creating an MVP, do some product testing at the 6-month mark, and in 12 months, be ready to launch. As I mentioned, we've been speaking to a lot of people in media, both journalists, media owners, and PR managers, who are all telling us that this style of virtual press conferencing and connecting to media is the new norm, and we're not going to go back to the way things were. It's easier and more cost efficient. So we need a technical co-founder and pilot customers. So happy to speak to anyone on the call today who might be able to help us. Pilot customers for us are going to include sporting clubs, PR and marketing agencies, and government representatives. As I mentioned, my name's Pete. I've got a background in PR, marketing, and commercial. And my co-founder, David, has a background in legal and law and finance. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Pete. It sounds like we've already got some interest, potential clients. Over to you, Monica.
Sorry, mine was actually more of a comment. I just thought the minute I heard it, I thought Scotty from marketing would love it.
Yep, I've spoken to Scotty, all good.
Well done. I like it, I really like it. I think it's a great tool. I'll give support to some foundation clients for you.
Brilliant, thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you. Brian Cook, over to you.
Thanks for the presentation. Can you tell us how the product or the market hypothesis has gained any momentum or feedback with customers and prospective customers?
Yes, certainly. So during the process through Activate, we have been speaking to a lot of people within PR and media and talking about what functionality they require, what's really important, and what's the general feedback has been is that quality of content is the most important thing when you're doing something virtually. So media really want to have high quality imagery and easy access to it. So that's been the main bit of feedback that we've had. And also that I think we're learning a lot, like all of society at the moment, and that connecting to something virtually is a pretty good way to do things. So I hope that answered your question, Brian.
Thank you, Brian and Pete. Monty, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just curious on what distribution list or channels do you have for the PR content that's created with Press One?
So if you're a PR person, you'll generally have a list of PR people that you go to. So part of this process, we've been building some back-end functionality where you'll be able to upload an Excel or whatever it is of all of your contacts. So once you've uploaded this content into the platform via a branded press release template, you can then farm that out to all of your contacts in that space.
Thank you. We do have time for one more question. David Myers.
Hi, I'm not sure. Can you hear me? I'm not
Yes.
sure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was just, I mean, obviously it's got a lot of features that products that are very generic, like Zoom have. What have you got that those generic products don't have that specifically supports like press conferences?
Yeah, sure. So Zoom, as it stands, like we're doing right now, is limited in that the distribution of content post a Zoom call is pretty limited. So we would like to be able to take a shareable link of a press conference that just has been recorded, have that stored within our platform and make it easy to distribute. So we do that via either a press release template within the platform, or content is stored, and as a media person, they can go in and search Activate Pitch, and today's whole session will be in there, and anything related to Activate will also be found, so they can use that for a story, for a news bulletin, or whatever they like. So probably solving the problem as an end-to-end solution rather than just bits and pieces.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Peter. We're going to go over now to Senza Carta founder, Shirley Farrell. And Pete, just while Shirley's getting ready, we do have quite a few more questions, so be prepared for your breakout session. And over to you, Shirley. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Pauline. And hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to, I'm having some, okay, now we're going. Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Amy. Amy has just landed herself an exciting new job, and she's anxious to get to day one, but there are a few nerves because she hasn't heard from anybody from her new employer in several weeks. Nevertheless, she arrives on day one ready to make a good impression, only to find that her manager seems to be not available. So she waits a little while until Brad comes out to collect her and to take her to a desk where apparently there's a pile of paperwork to be completed. At this stage, there is no tea, coffee or water offered, no orientation. Let's just get you straight to the desk and get you going. And Amy arrives at the most horrendous mess and chaos. She's been there less than half an hour and she is not impressed. This is a significant problem, not just for employees. This is a problem for business. It's a problem for business because of the costs involved in bringing people on board and getting them up to speed. If you add pre-start activities before, then the week one activities getting ready can be reduced by half. The time taken to full productivity can be cut by a third. And all of this avoids an early exit. Multiply this by tens, if not hundreds of thousands of times that it occurs across Australia and globally in businesses, particularly with our high salaries. And we have a significant problem that early exits just emphasise and repeat the costs involved. The solution goes beyond onboarding though. A positive employee experience will see an increase in innovation in businesses, improve customer satisfaction and add profit to the bottom line. Research tells us that, that we can achieve these things with a positive employee experience that lasts the length of the tenure of employment. Senza Carta has developed an employee experience platform that is a single place that offers a range of different services, not just to the new starter, but to every employee. In particular, the new starters giving access to the platform gives them the confidence to begin work from day one by creating connections and clarity about the job, about the company, their customers and products. Our product offering includes software that exchanges documents, contracts and payroll information, and allows a manager to communicate with the employee right from the time that they accept the offer. This can include the provisioning or the setting of tasks pre-employment, so that things like a tidy desk can be prepared and not the resulting problem. The software has a place where employees can maintain and keep their career credentials and information, and our experience platform lends itself to bringing on channel partners. We are currently in trial for the minimum viable product, and we expect for it to be finalised by the end of July, ready for launch. We have our platform ready for concept validation right now. By the end of December, we will be in growth mode with the software, and our experience platform will be in development to a scalable model, which will mean that by the middle of 2021, we will have acquired sizable customers. The goal is to have 5 on board by June and to license 4 domestic channel partners. Our target audience is the larger end of corporate, and the market that we're entering is the experiential end of HR technology. To demonstrate the strategic advantage that Senza Carta has in this area is to see it this way. We're entering the market at the experiential end. If we look at the HR technology from core to analytics, they perform quite nicely, but they're all transactional. And at the moment, they're not ready to launch an experience platform as Senza Carta is. Our vision is to disrupt human resources in a way that occurred roughly 10 years ago with the finance department. Our team is small, and we have assigned the talent scout to a partner who is looking for team members. Now, I'm sure you're curious about what happened to Amy. Unfortunately, she didn't last very long at that last job. So she was on the market fairly quickly. But the next job that she got, she experienced a Senza Carta welcome, which prepared her for work from day one, and also introduced her to a new team members who all made her feel very welcome. And the employee experience was, of course, a lot more positive. Today, we're asking for a co-founder with technical or technology background, a business that is sizable so that we can commence the concept validation for the employee experience platform, and seeking funds of $500,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. So we open up for questions now. Feel free to unmute yourself. We've got one from Jared Doyle.
I've got a theme going with mine. Great presentation, Shirley. There's a lot of onboarding programs out there at the market. Software programs, just a quick Google search brings up eBorder, My Job Offer, WalkMe, etc. What's the problem that you're solving that these other solutions aren't, so that the market will go, you know, your product's completely different and better?
The employee experience goes beyond onboarding. Onboarding lasts roughly 6 months to the end of the probationary period. The employee experience lasts the entire length of employment. It's particularly attractive for large businesses that are sensitive to employee branding and that understand that to increase engagement leads to better business performance. It is also, post-COVID, a very relevant platform to build, because things like employee wellbeing can be plugged in as a service, and the issues that employees have are not well served by transactional software. So we're going beyond onboarding, and we're providing a full service to the employees.
Thank you, Jared and Shirley. So Anne-Marie, you've got a similar question, but it has a different angle to it in relation to the partners. Did you want to raise that?
No, I think Jared and I was speaking about the same sort of theme, so I'll leave it to somebody else. Thank you.
Thank you. So we do have a comment in regards to a setup of an external meeting offline, so I'll let you have a look at that, Shirley. But if there are no other questions, we will go on to our next founder. Thank you so much, Shirley. So we next have up is Glenn Neuber from MaxusAI. Over to you, Glenn.
Hello, everyone. Just a second. All right. The screen presentation should be up. Hello, everyone. I'm Glenn, founder and managing director of MaxusAI. I started MaxusAI with the purpose of enabling everyone to maximize the use of AI for their business. Take Roger, for example. He learned everything about maintaining power poles, and he is now the head of maintenance overlooking more than 1 million assets in the energy network. Currently, Roger is using helicopters and soon drone footage to visually inspect the conditions of the poles. Over the last years, Roger and his team have collected hundreds of thousands of images. However, most of them don't come with detailed condition reports, which makes it hard for Roger to plan an overall maintenance requirements across the entire network. Especially, Roger knows from his experience that a missing pole cap, for example, reduces the expected lifetime of a power pole drastically. So far, he isn't aware of any commercial available solution which can automatically detect that for him. Roger knows nothing about artificial intelligence or machine learning, but he's optimistic that Sophia in the data science team is able to analyze his data for him. Unfortunately, Sophia advises that the data in the current format is not suitable for machine learning, and Roger would need to find some resources to help with the data preparation. Usually, this is a showstopper. That's why we built the MaxusAI solution. The solution is as simple as Sophia is providing the setup based on Roger's requirements. Roger transfers his domain expertise onto the images, finding out early whether AI can help or not, so that Roger doesn't waste time. And Sophia gets a high quality data set and a baseline whether the AI can learn to find Roger's missing pole caps. So we built it and are launching the MaxusAI platform today. Roger and everyone else just need a browser to start, share the workloads across teams and departments, and make the AI work for you and not the other way around. Sophia and Roger are not alone with those issues. Asking the computer vision community better tools for data collection and annotation is by far the #1 on their wish list. And that need is growing. Spanning of third-party data labeling solutions and in-house efforts to enhance the data further is expected to reach $3 billion in the next 3 years. We are targeting to capture about $10 million in revenue by 2023. However, that captures only large enterprises with the skills in their data science departments or consulting firms. Making AI more accessible to non-technical users, we see an opportunity to unlock small and medium businesses as well. With MaxusAI, we have the flexibility to monetize along those needs. We offer a choice to just collaborate more efficiently, access our AI in the box to make sure your data is AI ready and it works, or let us manage a prototype end-to-end for you in a record time. We have received great feedback so far and validation from pilots, countless demos, and even more expert interviews across industries and all sizes. Though I'm a sole founder, I work with great talent for the development, customer engagement, and digital marketing of MaxusAI. The future plan is to strengthen the team with sales and development operations expertise as well to scale. As next milestones, we are looking to pilot additional 5 prototypes with interested early adopters, and we're offering that for free. To partner with business and consulting firms to help their clients to provide the data in a perfect format so you can start working with it. To improve our ability to scale our infrastructure and to develop a commercial plan to raise funding in the next 6 to 12 months. If you'd like to join us on our journey, please do reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn. We will open up for questions. Surely there's some questions. There's quite a few asked and then a lot of opportunity. Over
I've
to you,
always got a
Jared.
question, Pauline. I can always jump in. Glenn, I saw you put SiteC up on a logo on the slide there. I'm probably ignorant to the difference here, but how are you different to SiteC? I would have assumed it was almost the same kind of company.
So the difference comes in that we could basically help SiteC to provide a better service to their customers. And what I'm saying is I'm focusing with MaxusAI to prepare any data for any use case you can imagine. SiteC, on the other hand, is very focused and has all the expertise to find the nuggets and build on top of the data to identify the specific use cases currently in the telco industry, and also then they could branch out into energy and utility industry. So they could use us to capture the data from their customers to build their services on top of our data, and we can help.
Thank you, Jared. We've actually got Lucio from SiteC on the call, I believe. Lucio, over
hey,
to
Lucio.
you.
Hello, Glenn.
Yes.
Thank you. That was very, very good presentation. Thank you, Pauline. Yeah, Glenn, look, yeah, we're a big fan of what you guys are doing. And I think it's more maybe a comment than I need a question than an answer from you, but certainly what you're planning to do is to really democratize the way AI can be utilized.
Yes.
Yeah. And
yes.
I think that really makes sense that, and I think that's the big opportunity, right? But the only sort of question I have is, are organizations actually keen on bringing this in-house? And I don't necessarily know the answer to that. Certainly from my viewpoint, we don't want them to do that. We want them to make it as an external service. So I certainly, I'm interested in see how you go with this. And it's certainly, it's a huge opportunity, right? So good luck. Very good presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Quick comment to it. So that's why the approach I'm taking is to focus on getting them across the first hurdle. If you, for example, compare to a race, right? And everybody is busy tuning their cars to get ready for the next rounds and do a better lap. While MaxusAI is a position that we are not looking to make a better car, we are looking to make actually better fuel. And we want to make the fuel better at each round. And everybody else can build on top the individual solutions, which then integrate in the business processes, which I'm not having in focus yet. So building an app on it to, in the maintenance world, to basically integrate with the work orders and make it seamlessly integrated into the work processes of customers. I hope that makes sense. And to the other part of the question, whether companies are ready or whether it should be outsourced, again, similar answer. There's always two options. Either you have in-house skills and you keep it in-house, you do it, or you need to sort of make a business case and get budget to actually outsource it to consulting or like SiteC. And here we also are in a position to actually help to get the first hurdle done to see, okay, it will work. And now we can get budget to actually make it real. And we can do, you have seen the price, we can do it fairly cheap and we can give very early insights to whether it will work or not, and the effort won't be wasted.
Thank you. We do have one more time for one more question. So I'll just go over to Alex, who's got a couple of questions and maybe a clarification. So Alex, did you want to raise those?
G'day, how you going? Look,
Hi,
I
Alex.
think, you know, there's a specific use case here that if you're in the industry, it sounds very, very, very well targeted actually at the industry that I'm in. So, and just sort of, you actually answered one of my questions as you were talking. So you're more about ensuring that the data that the organizations have is suitable to then be used for AI use cases rather than actually doing any of the AI use cases. I think, to be honest, what I'm interested in is maybe a bit of a presentation and stepping through that actual process of getting somebody who is not, you know, like let's say an engineer who's not necessarily IT savvy in being able to define, like understand and define what are the key things that are being captured. Anyway, I think it's we'll have to talk about it.
Reach out if you take a screenshot. Where's my Calendly on the screen?
We'll be able to share that offline as well.
Exactly.
So, and also you're welcome to stay on for the breakout sessions. There are quite a few other comments there on the chat, Glenn, so I'll let you navigate through that. A great opportunity, and the founder profiles, just a reminder, they're actually have the contact details, I believe, also on there. So please download those packs if you can't stay on for the networking. So thank you so much, Glenn. So now we are going to go over to Dr. Padma Gardinyar from Smilo. Just checking that Dr. Padma is maybe having some technical issues. Maybe we can
Padma, you need to unmute.
We might be able to leverage a hybrid of press 1 at this point.
Pauline, you might be able to actually just unmute her for her.
Yeah, Aliyah, if you could just, lovely. A great example of some of the pitfalls of Zoom and why I'm sure press conferencing does not work, which is why press 1 is front and center trying to solve that problem. Great example. So what we might do, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me? Sorry for that.
Excellent, we can hear you loud and clear. Would you like to present, then share screen? That would be great.
Yeah.
Go to escape. Go to Zoom.
Excellent, we can see your screen.
Sorry for that, guys, and welcome to Smilo.ai, the future of oral health care. I'm Dr. Padma Gardinyar, and I'm a dentist and a practice owner. Being a practice owner of 3 dental practices means I have to keep my associates really busy, and that means a high marketing spend. Communication plays a vital role in dentistry to communicate with our patients, but with an industry average of less than 30% conversion rate and 40% patient retention rate. And there's no way we can monitor our patients in between appointments. That means patchy books and lesser profits. On the other hand, the Australian data tells me that in just last 12 months, there has been an increase in gum disease by 50%, dental decay by 33%, and tooth aches have gone up by another 25%. And the story doesn't end there. Globally as well, it's a much more bigger problem. And that is exactly why Smilo helps people to know what is going on in their mouth, helps them design their own smile, and connect with their dentist. It's a virtual platform that's made to increase awareness, early detection, and develop connection and communication with their dentists. As I was building this in March, COVID-19 hits. On Monday, I had a fully functional practice, but by Friday, we were told to be on level 3 and gone into level 4, where I had to probably shut down my practice. So there's no business, no cash flow. How do I communicate this with my patients? There's a huge waiting list going on. On the top of that, there's video conferencing available for teledentistry, but no compliant platform to actually share the data. So virtual business model for dentistry that I was thinking it's a futuristic thing became a validated need. So let me introduce you to one of our features. Patient comes in, takes a few pictures, the AI analyzes it, and mind it, dental decay and gum disease are the 2 most important diseases that are the reasons for tooth loss. So it assesses it and then gives you a color-coded score and makes recommendations. It also helps you design your smile instantly in less than 30 seconds, which makes it easy to use, convenient, cost-effective, and saves time. Our survey results tell us that dentists who have used Smilo, saying 60% conversion rate higher for their cosmetic patients. And patients who have used Smilo tell us that they can communicate with their dentist better, and 93% tell us that if they knew there was a problem, they would take action. So let's look at the market size in Australia. It's a $10.7 billion market. We are looking at approaching the market first into the diagnostic and preventative sector, and then move on to the cosmetic sector. So altogether, it's a $3.5 billion segmented market for diagnostic and preventative business. And Smilo, the initial Smilo market, is at $105 million. The global market size is at $450 billion. So in Australia, we're just getting started. So the business model is, this is how we're going to enter the market, subscription-based for dentists. We do have the Smilo Engage, Smilo Lead, Smilo Remote, and we are TGA approved and HIPAA compliant. This is our business roadmap, and we move on to enterprise, into insurance companies, into D2C, aligners and whitening companies, and oral health hospitals. We do have a product roadmap into the B2C market with the teledentistry code of 919 that's available now. And these are our future customers. These are dental corporates, dental practices, insurance companies, and so on. Right now, we have the MVP ready and beta trials done. We have already signed on 8 practices for our pilot trials starting the 10th of July. 30 practices are on the waiting list, and we are already negotiating developing the whitening solution. So here is our competitive advantage. We are aimed at the general dentistry and cosmetic market. There's no remote patient monitoring right now that's available right to the people as well as to the dentists to offer it to their patients. On the top of that, the AI integration, the technology integration is definitely a differentiating factor. You can see that we want to integrate the video integration as well as the treatment monitoring and whitening solution in the next 12 months to come. We are a diverse and a skilled team of niche dentists, business, and technical experts. Myself, I've been in the industry for 13 years, and my book, Buy, Build, Sell, a step-by-step guide to a multi-million-dollar practice empire is the only book on practice ownership for dentists. Our ask today is, we're raising $800,000 mainly for product development, bringing new hires, marketing, and sales. In the next 18 months, we plan to achieve 100 practices on board with 35,000 users. We'd also like request for introduction and collaboration into government hospitals, insurance companies, and other oral healthcare networks. So if you'd like to have a chat with me, here are my details. With Smilo, we are not just trying to get into disrupting the dental industry, but we are trying to be the bridge to gap and move from a traditional concept from a same place, same time to anywhere, anytime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Padma. So we do have a couple of questions rolling in, so I'll hand over to Anne-Marie for our first question.
Thanks, Padma. I was interested to see that you've done some market research. That's fantastic. I assume it is market research because the company's pre-revenue.
Yes.
How many dentists and patients did you survey to come to those percentages that you talked to us about earlier?
So with respect to dentists, we've gone up to about 80 dentists to survey. And with respect to patients, all in all, we've ran about 4 to 5 surveys, Anne-Marie. So we would have reached about 300 to 400 patients.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So Michael Choi. Just checking you are able to unmute yourself. Otherwise, I can read that out as well.
Yeah, well, so thanks very much for your presentation. How does the diagnostic works? What can the phone tell us about your dental health? Besides, you need to get your teeth getting a bit whiter than brown.
So thank you for your question. With respect to the demonstration I gave with respect to your oral health score, it does tell you what's happening in your mouth with respect to dental decay and gum disease. We would further like to expand into annotation to show which teeth is probably more problematic as well. We are already working on that solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Terry Hillsberg, we have a question from you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask what is the precise stage of product development? What have you developed? What remains to be developed in the first stage?
We developed the oral health score, which probably gives the probability for dental decay and gum disease. We have the Smile Makeover solution already there. We do have the Find a Dentist and Ask a Dentist solution as well that I have not probably demonstrated. I can show you the product demonstration. We want to go into video integration and probably expand into developing the first to market whitening solution as well. And also, identification of further more diseases. To be precise, 4 more diseases.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions?
I've got a question. Sorry, turn my video on. I love your presentation. That was great. The question I have is, because you're doing an assessment of someone's, teeth and the images, and so would this potentially be a tool for dentists to replace X-rays?
You're talking about X-rays is a totally different market. We are exploring into that. We did look into that. The reason why I started with the computer vision and with the photography is that's the first point of contact. It becomes an educational tool. It becomes an awareness tool. We don't intend to be a conversation starter. We want to be a conversion maker with Smilo. So to do that, patient and dentist have to be on the same page. So with the photos, it's much more easy to communicate that. When it goes into X-rays, which we will probably, it's in our growth plan, and I can discuss with you later, it's more technical. It's more for dentists.
Yeah.
I answered your question, Marie. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is excellent. So thank you so much for your questions, and there'll be more opportunities in the breakout. Excuse me. So next we're going to move over to Keagan Chisnall from Medically. Over to you, Keagan. I think we saw some virtual claps there.
Hi everyone, can you hear me all right? Yep. Good afternoon. My name is Keagan, and I want to tell you about Medically, an indispensable super tool for GPs. While we're all familiar with visiting a doctor, we might not appreciate their competing interests. In Australia, whether they spend 5 or 20 minutes with a patient, they're paid the same. Recognizing, of course, that 5 minutes is simply not long enough for safe medicine, medical practices generally push their doctors to keep their consults below 10 minutes. But in reality, most consults take 12 to 15 minutes when factoring in interruptions and extra requirements. This leaves the gold standard of general practice possible, but completely impractical. Medically solved this by collating the multitude of information sources, summarizing medication data and research, and adding several brand new features to get the gold standard achievable in the coveted 10 minutes. For GPs, Medically makes the gold standard practical. Over and above the obvious benefits of better patient outcomes, the market that this 20% improvement in both efficiency and efficacy would be applied is $660 billion worldwide. It also happens to be the primary source for referrals for the $410 billion allied health industry. But most importantly, general practices all over the world are the ones primarily responsible for prescribing medication. For every new drug, this trillion-dollar industry pays obscene amounts of money to make doctors even aware of the drug, even to the point that effective treatments are abandoned as advertising costs make them uneconomical. A healthier GP industry is in everyone's best interests. Medically was founded by myself and Hugh Armitage last year. We both began as engineers in the mineral processing industry, but most importantly, shared a passion for solving new and difficult problems. When we met in 2017, I was designing a recruitment platform and Hugh was gaining traction in the mining sector with AI-driven asset management. Since then, we've entered the medical world, learning about the pharmaceutical industry, health regulations, and of course, gaining an intimate knowledge of the day-to-day life of a doctor in Australia. 4 weeks ago, we surveyed 74 practicing GPs in Australia to see if they shared our belief that we could indeed improve general practice. We were pleased to find they did, and 82% said they would use our solution at least once a day, with the remaining 18% saying weekly. We were also pleasantly surprised to find that these percentages did not change across the demographics of experience level and place of work, making us confident that what we're seeing is a universal pain that has not yet been satisfied. As soon as the survey ended, in 2 weeks, Hugh and I made it a reality and began our first trial 4 days ago. We currently have 20 GPs across Australia using this right now with patients to help prescribe treatments. While meant for doctors, you're certainly welcome to try it out yourself with a medication you're familiar with. Having validated our solution, developing our product, and beginning a trial, we have plans of further development, growing internationally, and expanding into other areas of medicine. As an example, we're working towards including local pharmacy prices and stock levels, and doubling the information we can show GPs at a glance. So far, I've only spoken to 2 GPs from overseas, one of which is in Denmark and one in South Africa, both of which have strongly encouraged me to consider expanding there next. I'm sure there's many other opportunities. But we have an even bigger plans for the longer term, because it's a philosophy we are applying. We make the gold standard practical, and the global health system is in dire need of that. We have much more to say and would very much like to speak to anyone interested in following us or partnering with us to accelerate our plans. We are, of course, available after this presentation and always reachable by that email address you can see. If you are a doctor or you'd like to share this with any doctors that appreciate offering the gold standard treatment, Medicare is available right now at the website shown. Thank you for your time.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Keagan. We do have a question already, so from Brian Cook. Over to you, Brian. I might ask that for Brian. What's your primary competitive advantage?
So we've had a really interesting exposure to the market. It turns out there's a lot of people interested in servicing doctors. Something that we've found doctors being consistently unhappy with all the solutions, because there are a lot of solutions out there. Most software developers or information providers tend to err on the side of providing as much information as they can to make sure they cover everything. We've taken quite a different approach. We're looking to provide what's useful for the 95% of cases so that we can achieve that at a glance. So we do a lot of summarizing, and we do a lot of, we spend a lot of time on layout to try and get everything in one place that a doctor can use while they're actually with a patient. Most of the doctors we spoke to said that they weren't comfortable with bringing up anything that required reading in front of their patient. So they wanted a solution that they could literally glance over to make sure there's no red flags or anything like that. Currently, all the data sources and other software providers don't really offer that and don't see their products in that way.
Thank you, Keagan. We do have a couple of questions in regards to your revenue model, so if you could just explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 facts that are central to our revenue plan. First, drug companies are desperate for cheap and effective ways to make prescribing doctors aware of new products. Similarly, allied health services are also struggling to find effective ways to reach their biggest referrers. The second point is that doctors actually want this information. They need to know what new drugs are available and what services are open locally. We simply marry those 2 once through a regulated advertising platform to keep our integrity and obviously the respect of the doctors.
Thank you, Keagan. I will hand over to Sarah Pearson, who has a question.
Thanks, thanks, Pauline, and thanks, Keagan. I think it's there's so much innovation required in the health sector, and this is a great, it's a great idea. Certainly, GPs need a lot of help to do their job well. I've worked with a couple of companies before, so Maxwell Plus, for instance, who are trying to break into the medical sphere, and others, and it can be a real challenge to get GPs to do something different. Medics are wonderful people, absolutely fabulous people, you know, doing great things, but they're not very quick to change. And you can imagine, because they're so flat out, it's really hard for them. And you can get into one or two, or you've got a few doctors that you're into, that you've managed to get your idea into, but getting it to the scale is a real challenge. So I'm just wondering if you thought how you're going to do that. I mean, I've seen strategies where, for instance, people will work with really well-known medics, and then they'll write stuff and they'll get them to be the champion for it all.
Yep.
So anyway, have you had thoughts about how you're going to do that?
Absolutely, and I think this is the funny thing about the medical industry. Once you're in, it's a very sticky industry, but it is very difficult to break into. What our initial product is, certainly what we're working on, what Medically is at the moment, is something that actually replaces something that a lot of doctors do but won't admit to. A lot of doctors actually do go online to try and find prices. Now, currently, there's only one major warehouse that has prices online. I won't say their name, but 9 out of 10 of the doctors that we spoke to in the early stages said that they visit this website regularly to be able to give patients an idea on price. They didn't like bringing up the site in front of the patient because obviously they all want to make sure that it doesn't look like a conflict of interest. So how we've actually been advertising to doctors is by saying, hey, you can actually look up prices very quickly on our site. It replaces that other website that you visit on a regular basis. And this one has obviously no logos. It's a third-party agnostic platform. And by the way, it also provides all these other extra resources. So we've had a surprising amount of success with doctors just coming along to have a look at prices for medication, which is something they want. And as I say, a lot of them use, even though they don't really want to go to that particular website. And seeing what other data can be available and what other websites they don't have to visit if they have ours open and ready to go.
Great, and also check out, there's a company called Prospection that use a bunch of data analytics that's worth having a look at and see how they fit in with what you're doing.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Keagan, so much from Medically. So there is opportunity, obviously, in the breakout, so stay tuned if you'd like to join in Keagan's breakout session. So we've next got Alex Taylor from DashUp. Over to you, Alex.
G'day, everyone. How's it going? Pretty good, I'm assuming, since...
So a few waves.
All right, let me get started. My name is Alex. I'm the founder and managing director of DashUp. DashUp helps businesses solve problems. To show you how, I'd like to tell you a story about Zach Sheem. Zach Sheem is an associate director at Divine Foods, a family business that supplies melting moments to Aldi. Zach Sheem's business grinds to a halt if he runs out of butter. For his business to succeed, he needs better butter management. He needs to make sure his inventory is accurate and up to date. He needs to make sure his orders from his suppliers are on time. He needs to ensure he has enough staff to run the factory. He needs to ensure his staff have access to the information they need. And then he has to connect it all to Aldi's API. He needs to do everything seamlessly for his melting moments to efficiently make it to the Aldi shelves. There's no tool which can manage everything Zach Sheem needs in the unique way his business operates. Airtable doesn't provide a refined, employee-specific configuration that he requires. Bubble is time-consuming to learn, difficult to implement, and mostly customer-facing. Monday.com doesn't connect with the services he requires and doesn't visualize his data in the way he needs. All of the options he found were complicated, time-consuming, or expensive for him to try and solve his problem. Enter DashUp, a platform designed to be as flexible and as simple as possible. We do this by utilizing the idea of business building blocks. We provide simple, configurable components that can be dragged around and configured to interact with each other. This allows companies to do complicated functionality at the drag of a mouse. That gave Sakshim the ability to construct a great solution for his unique problem without training and without costly custom development. Sakshim, using these building blocks, was able to create and craft a solution on his own. He simply dragged and dropped the blocks he needed to manage his supply chain, inventory, staff, and connected them all with Audi's system. He now has the tool he needs to never again lose a day's production. As you can see, DashUp has impressed the small family business by solving their problem. DashUp and Divine Foods will grow together, allowing Sakshim to agilely change his platform to suit his business's future needs. We don't make businesses conform to our ideas of how they should run. DashUp is the perfect solution for small or medium-sized businesses to build a unique solution to their individual problems. We provide the building blocks for these businesses to solve these problems, everything from a simple embedded contact form to a fully fledged embedded e-commerce solution. Basic Chocolates was able to build an e-commerce solution to sell their chocolate online. Tender Funerals will use DashUp to manage their funeral services effectively. Socially will deliver events for their clients using DashUp's embedded authentication and calendar tools. Everything else is a compromise. We believe we have both simplicity and flexibility without the fuss. In Australia alone, there are over 2 million businesses like Sakshim's. These businesses are being ripped off by software that is not right for them. DashUp will increase its market share with its offering for building things unique to each business's needs. In comparison to other products, we offer a simpler, cleaner usage model. Everything in DashUp is based on usage, whether you're at the free tier all the way through the enterprise tier, where we give you a bit more hand-holding. At every level, DashUp offers induction, training, and building tools to help people build things themselves, or can provide the entire integration from start to finish with our team. Our team covers a variety of expertise across a vast array of experience, from ERP development and enterprise scale program architecture through branding, operations, and project management. We've built the brand and the product from scratch, configured it, and are already inquiring clients for the program. We believe we have the right team to effectively and fully execute DashUp's vision. Our plan is to launch this product to the world, and we have a diverse go-to-market strategy that is already in action, from initial customer acquisition to eventual SaaS dominance. We believe we have the right product, people, and strategy to see our vision through. To execute DashUp's vision, we need $500,000 to hire critical sales staff and marketing talent and launch a powerful marketing campaign to help DashUp reach the world. If you want to hear more about our investment opportunity or would like to see your business built on DashUp in a short 30-minute demo, send me an email at alex@dashup.io and we will organize a meeting. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alex. We'll open up for questions now. We've got one from Eliza Jackson. Eliza, did you want to open up with your question and I can go on mute?
Sure. Hi, Alex. Great pitch. I was interested in the idea of really disparate businesses with different business needs onboarding and how you help kind of make that process smooth. Is it through templates, or how do you think about onboarding when people have such different needs?
Yeah, so we're building the templates around like a variety of pilot clients would be the easiest way to say. So we're trying to get people from a vast array of industries so that we can build really cool, smaller templates that they can build upon. For example, like a warehousing template versus an e-commerce template, you know. Yeah.
Thank you, Eliza. Do we have any other questions for Alex from DashUp? Sounds like you had everything covered, Alex.
I hope so.
So just a little reminder before we move on to our next founder is we have the breakout sessions after the pitches. So this will be our last pitch, the next one. So if you already have got some ideas that you would like to meet a startup or two, if you could just a reminder, send a private message to River City Labs where Aaliyah can give a bit of a wave. Aaliyah, thank you, can actually start to get ready to move you into those breakout rooms. So don't forget, note down your startup, send the startup name privately to River City Labs via chat. So now introducing our last founder, co-founder of Cohort, and not the least. So Nadine, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadine King, and our company is Cohort. We're a social impact venture reimagining resale to move fashion further towards a truly circular ecosystem. With the advent of social media and fast fashion, we've become accustomed to getting fresh new looks we want when we want it, sometimes for less than the cost of our morning coffee. But this comes at a much greater cost to the world, with fashion second only to oil as our greatest pollutant. Alarming, right? But it's statistics like this that are making sustainability increasingly a wardrobe priority, particularly for younger generations. But habits are hard to break. And whilst our intentions are good, the constraints of time and money are limiting our execution and any meaningful change. This is Carrie. Carrie's a young professional. She buys quality and buys it regularly. She has the income to do so. But with no time to clean out her wardrobe and list for resale, she is guilty of poor disposal. Her friend Ash needs fresh new looks always. You see, Ash, she's going to be an influencer. She also wants to buy better, but she can't afford it, so she reverts to fast fashion. And despite some resale efforts, quality fails her and it's poor disposal out. And finally, their friend Ria. Salt of the earth, Ria always buys quality and always secondhand and wears things to the end. But even she has the occasional longing for something current season, but due to her budget and ethics, it's just not an option. Ria is the social conscience of their group, and rather than getting upset with Carrie and Ash, Ria realises that if Carrie opened her wardrobe to Ash, her purchases will continue to be valued, and if Ash buys Carrie's pre-loved, she will move away from fast fashion, and in turn, Ria will have the opportunity to access some current season garments affordably from Ria. And what we recognise is that not all of us have this perfect Ash, Carrie and Ria scenario. But if we could connect the wardrobes of all the Carries and Ashes and Rias of the world and make it easier for them all to buy and sell from each other, we can truly recognise better circularity, move away from fast fashion and wastage globally. Even in a post-COVID world where discretionary incomes have changed, we feel that people can comfortably find where they sit in the resale chain and still get the fashion they love. Our mission is to create this with our one-click wardrobe-to-wardrobe marketplace, seamlessly connecting retail to resale and beyond so that we can all do better. Our partnerships with brands and retailers allow items that Carrie purchases to automatically populate her virtual wardrobe at the time of purchase. Carrie wears the product, and when it starts heading to the back of her wardrobe, she can convert it for sale. With a single click, no closet clean out, no photographing items in the right light, no detailed description, no hashtags, and no price setting research. When purchased, the garment transfers from the seller's wardrobe to the buyer's. For our partners, our data will help them to understand the life of garments beyond the register and incorporate that into their supply chain decision making. But back to our one-click resale feature. Our own research showed that 60% of respondents deemed this feature to be important or very important. But what was interesting is that 75% of them, so more, were willing to put in significant time, effort, or pay to acquire this feature. Our vision is that covered casts will be the wardrobe of the future. The next generation live on their phones, so why wouldn't they have their wardrobes on there as well? This 1.6 billion worldwide demographic is driving the growth of the apparel resale market, soon to reach $51 billion by 2023 and surpass fast fashion. The covered cast wardrobe will be free to access and we'll charge a 25% commission on every resale transaction. Currently, we're a team of 2, myself and my co-founder, Janine. We identify with the wardrobe dilemma and we have extensive execution skills across events and partnerships. But more importantly, we're mums and behaviour change is our game. We understand that you can tell people they need to change their behaviour, but if you don't enable them or give them the tools to do so, then your progress will be slow and largely ineffective. Unfortunately, our earth just doesn't have the luxury of time. Currently, we have 2 retail partners on board validating features and an MVP soon to launch. We are very aware of and clear on the work ahead to get significant runs on the board. We've connected with a number of qualified brands in this space to start conversations about partnerships. Getting them and their tribes on early adoption will seed our growth. We welcome discussions with any of you interested in following or joining us on this journey. And absolutely, if you are in or networked with the fashion, e-commerce or logistics industry, please connect. We truly believe that covered casts will help us all to look good, do better together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nadine. We have quite a few comments in chat with a few people, I think, identifying with the product. We've got Marie identifying with Rhea. I identified as being a bit of Kerry and a bit of Rhea, I think. Depends on how guilty I'm feeling after a purchase. So I'll open up for questions. So we do have Sarah Pearson, over to you.
Thank you. I absolutely love it. Because I know I've got way too many clothes and I really should be finding good homes for them. And sometimes I'd really like to wear something but not wear it very often. So I think it's a great idea. The question I have is, how do you get the clothes to the owners and quickly? Like, for instance, I've got a bit of a dream. Sometimes I'm in a new city and you know, I think, oh gosh, I really should be wearing something different. It would be just awesome to very, very instantly, quickly, you know, find out where those clothes were and if there's some that are close by to be able to get a hold of them. So have you thought about that speed to service?
Yeah, I mean, our concept, we've thought about, you know, whether we people can have packages ready to go, so parcels ready to ship. So part of the cover cast is as soon as that sale is made, it pops in there, they get a label to print out and it ships off. You know, there is the opportunity to, when the marketplace is up and running, to, you know, connect with locally for in-person exchanges as well.
Yes, I can imagine an app for that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anne-Marie, over to you.
Thanks. Look, great idea. When you first started, I was wondering what your point of difference was going to be. And I think that I understand it to be the fact that the wardrobe is built at the point of sale, which is a brilliant idea. I guess, what's the motivation for brands to come on board? Is it purely their kind of social conscience, or is there some other drivers for them in terms of signing up?
Yeah, so social conscience wise, so brands are increasingly designing for end of life and they have no way of connecting with that currently to make sure that those design features are realised. So because we capture our consumers, we have the opportunity that at the end of life, they say, remove from my wardrobe, and we can converse with them and say, hey, that fabric was actually intended to, and we've also talked about to go here or to this recycler. We have talked to people who are doing some interesting stuff at the end of life. You know, we would expect that a parcel could automatically come to them and they pop it in there and go. The other opportunity we have is that because we know where it comes from, that specific point of sale, whether it's a retailer or a brand, we have the opportunity to reward them sort of with a royalty, especially for early onboarders. So they can get like a royalty or a share of the commission for every resale or end-of-life action. And we can also reward consumers as well for their end-of-life actions, which may be a discount in store.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Is there any more questions for COVIDcast. Fantastic. Like Alex, looks like you've covered the bases. Well done. I just want to say thank you so much to all of our founders, the businesses and the teams behind the founders, and also the co-founders within the teams. You truly have demonstrated the breadth of industries on tonight's pitches, and truly have shown the capability that you bring to the table. So well done, and you deserve a big drink after this. Can I also then like to call out to Lou and to Peter, without your support and active contribution and push to the teams, and feel free to unmute yourself. I just want to say you've done an amazing job for our first program, and I know that a lot of our founders definitely have leaned on you through this whole process, especially when they were feeling quite challenged. So thank you so much. And we do have a gift of our appreciation from River City Labs. I will virtually hand it to you. It's actually in our office over here. Thank you, you've received it.
Thanks.
It is in our office over here. So when you're next in the labs, please swing by. It's got your names with a pretty bow on it for you. So thank you so much.
Pleasure. Just quickly, I just want to say, for what these teams have done in 5 weeks, takes some incubator and accelerator programs 3 to 6 months. So everybody should be absolutely proud of how well they've done and where they've gone in just 5 weeks, all done remotely. So well done, everybody.
Could not agree more. And Peter's got a thumbs up. And we have a few virtual claps, a few thumbs up. I think we're all very proud of the program founders and what they have done. So well done. So next up, we do have an opportunity for further networking. Before we do that, if you haven't already, please pop through a message to let Aaliyah know at River City Labs who you would like to go and break out with. And then before we do that, I just want to mention that we do have another cohort program planned. So next week, our applications will open again. And I'm sure the process, the guys can say, was semi-painful, not really painful to go through. So I encourage all of you, if you know of a founder or you are a founder or a startup that you know who would benefit from a program like Activate, please have them check out our website. Of course, we'll also be promoting that on our social channels. The program will commence in August. So without further ado, thank you so much for your attendance. If you are not staying on further for the networking, please feel free to drop off and have a fabulous weekend. A big thank you to the River City Labs team for your hard work and coordination. Well done. And thank you everyone else. And if you are staying on, enjoy the breakout and please enjoy drilling the founders, asking the founders questions in their breakout session. And well done, teams. Everyone's doing the silent virtual claps. Love digital. Thank you, everyone.